Hello. In last two classes, we learned about activity life cycles and the callback methods that are called by the Android system when activity goes through different phases of its life cycle. In today's lecture, we will see how to do logging. Logging has many uses. Number one, that you can use it for debugging. That is primary use of logging. Number two, that you can use the logging to learn more about your program execution. Today I will show you what is the logging facilities available in Android, and specifically I will show you how to use the logging techniques to know more about our activity lifecycle that we studied in last two lectures. You may have already done some logging in your career. For example, if you are a C programmer, often we just type a printf statement and see whether our program reaches this point or not. This is a valid approach. However, this is not a recommended approach. Now, the new programming languages such as Java provide some very good logging mechanisms, because when you use a printf statement, at the time of the delivery, you will have to remove those statements. Similarly, you do not know how to view those statements in a nicer, cleaner way. While with logging mechanisms, you can set the different log labels. You can remove the logs when you deploy. You can reinstate the logs when you are testing again. And this functionality is very important when you are debugging your application. So today we will start looking at what logging we can do in Android applications. And as the course progresses, we will advance our debugging techniques using logging and several other techniques. So let's start. I will be using our simplified application. Now, in order to do logging, we need to first see what Android provides us. In order to start our logging, we will have to first see what facilities are available in Android. So in Android, we have something called android.util.log class that sends log messages to a shared system level log. This log class has several methods for logging messages. However, we will use one simple method which has a signature of public static int d, string tag as parameter, and a string message as parameter. The d here stands for debug and refers to the level of the log message. There is a lot more to learn about log labels, but we will slowly learn it later. Let's first start programming. In order to first use the log facilities, we need to define a tag constant. A tag constant is nothing but just a string constant that will identify your class. So for example, I will just add a tag constant here by writing private static final string tag, and I will give it the value which is nothing but same as the name of my class, quiz activity. That is it. I have defined the tag for my class so that all the log messages from this class are tagged by this name. Now, in this program, we are currently only seeing the onCreate method, because that's the only method that is being called. However, as we just discussed, there are many other methods are also being called, such as onStart, onRestart, onPaused, etc. But we are not seeing them here because we have not overridden them. So let us override some of these methods and then start adding log messages to see when those methods are called. So first, let us add a log message into the onCreate itself. I will just add it in the very beginning. The syntax to add a log message is log.d for debug, the first string tag, and then any message that you want to display. I will say inside on create, and that's it. The studio displays an error because I have not yet imported android.util.lang, android.util.log. If I press Alt and enter, it will import it by itself. Let's go and check, and you can see that android.util.log has been imported. My error is gone. Now let us just first run this program and see the effect of this message. In Android Studio, you will see a window called Logcat. This is the window where all the log messages come. Okay, now we are running the application. Let's see. Let me give it some rotation. Oh, so this is my Logcat window. There are lots of messages here. I want to filter the messages which start with, let's say, our tag quiz activity. I will type quiz activity, and as you can see, oh sorry, I made a spelling mistake. As you can see, it has already been called twice. Let's try to rotate, see what happens. Okay, yes, it got called again. So now I know what is happening when I am interacting with my application. Let's say I press the home button, then I go to active applications, then I come back again. I think I can see another on create call. So that's how you can see your log messages in your Logcat window by setting a filter. If you don't set a filter, then everything comes up, and here's a small button which clears your current window. Fine. So this is what we did in the onCreate method. Now let's move on and try to override all the other methods which are related to the life cycle of an activity. We will start with onStart. At override protected void onStart. Let me call the super method. Whenever you override, your first line should be the call to the super method. My error is gone. Now I can add my log. Let's start our application again. First set filter. As you can see, on start has been called. My application is up. Now, first we will add all the methods and then we will see its behavior as we interact with it. At, override, protected, void, on pause, super, on pause, log.d, tag, inside, on pause. At, override, protected, void, on resume, super dot on resume, log.d, tag, inside, on resume. At, override, protected, void, on stop, super on stop, oops. Finally, at, override, protected, void, on destroy, super on destroy, the tag, side, on destroy. Fine. Now our application is ready with all the necessary log messages to trace the movement of our activity life as it goes through different states. Let us run our application and see the execution. First I will kill it, compile and run. Let it run. Application is up. Let me set the filter. As you can see, my application is created, started, and then resumed. Can interact with it, but if I go to home button, then it is paused and then stopped. If I go back again and restart again, then from stop it went to on start and it went to on resume. On resume went to on pause and stop when I started another application. And let me bring it back. It again comes to on start on resume. Let me now press the back button and see what happens. Oops, when I press the back button, on destroy is called. And when I press from a recent app button, again the app is created, started and resumed. Now let me press a rotate button so that it rotates. Now you see, when I rotating, first get destroyed, then created, started and resumed one more time. Again destroyed, created, started, resumed. So in this lecture you could see that how using logs we can very easily follow through our activities life cycle. Now, so far we were using only the .d version. Now let's try to use some other methods. There are various others available. Let's say log e tag e called. I will only show it within the resume log dot w tag w called log dot I tag I called log dot v tag verbose called. The D stands for debug, the E stands for error, the W stands for warning, the I stands for info, and the V stands for verbose. You should use a V tag while you are developing. You should use a D tag when you want a debug output that may be filtered out. You should use I when you are using informational messages. You should use W for warnings and E for error messages. So now let us again run our application and try to see how does the Logcat handles these messages. So I am currently putting a filter. You will see a small window here. Currently says verbose. The verbose means that anything above verbose will be called, but the verbose is the lowest level. Let me set it to what I call debug. Now you see that from the previous log messages, the messages which had we called is gone, comes back. What I'm showing what I'm showing you is the use of filter in Logcat to filter unwanted messages. If I set it to I, only I, W, E are there. Even D is gone. If I set it to W, only the messages above W label will remain. So that is W and E. If I set it to E, then only the messages above E will remain. So this shows different order in which these messages are divided. Based on your usage, you can use these so that by using this filter, you can see the appropriate messages. And when you are using the android.util.log class to send log messages, you are not only controlling the content of the message but also a label, as you just saw. Now, so far we have been using the method called, which is taking two string parameters. One is a tag and another is a message. Let us see what else is available. Let us see what is it. So this is another method. It takes a tag, takes a message, and it also take a throwable instance. It also takes a throwable instance. From your knowledge of Java, you know that Java uses exceptions. You can use this new signature of the log message to throw a certain type of exception. So as we move forward and when we will use exception, we will try to use the other signature of the log method that is provided by Android Studio. In this lecture, we learned about logging, how logging can be used to debug, and also how logging can be used to learn more about your program. Thank you.